4.1 Ethical and legal issues within sport and exercise science research and implications which can occur if not working ethically or legally for researchers, participants, and organisations. Firstly, we're going to start off with the background of ethical and legal issues, so the history and how it has grown and evolved. On this slide, we're going into Nazi death camps in World War II. Back in World War II, there was many scientists who were working in the Nazi death camps on prisoners of war. In the camps, experiments would take place on the prisoners back then it wasn't deemed wrong. However, now it is seen unethical and wrong. Next, we have Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment. Volunteers were collected from a university and they were split into two different groups, guards and prisoners. The prisoners were told that the experiment would last 6 weeks, however it had to end after 6 days due to complications and the way the guards were acting towards the prisoners. This was a very unethical experiment. Next, we have the Milgram obedience study, presented us with a group of learners and a group of teachers. The learners went into a room and had electrodes put on them. The teachers then went into a room with the researchers and had the switches marked 15 to 450 volts, which would generate the electric shocks to the electrodes. The learners were asked questions. If they're wrong, the researchers told the teachers to give the learners an electric shock, even though 450 volts could be life-threatening. So, prior to 1947, there was no code of conduct. However, in 1947, the Nuremberg Code was created. Then the Declaration of Helsinki was made, and this was the World Medical Association, and then a set of ethical principles. So, in 1974, the Nuremberg Code was made, and this was a list of 10 rules which researchers had to stick to, ensuring future experiments on humans were both ethical and legal. So here is the Nuremberg Code. So the first one is that participants must give consent. So this is often like by signing a form or something. Second is experiments should have a purpose. So that it has to have an aim, which the aim should be more reliable than the risk. So next we have the experiment, designed and based on animal experimentation. So previous studies have to be done on animals, so you can't do them on humans. Experiments to avoid unnecessary harm, so health and safety is put into play. This can be physical, psychological, or social harm. Experiment not to go ahead if death, disability, injury may occur. Risk assessments have to be carried out. Preparations must be made, so they have to plan. Number 8 is that they have to be conducted by a qualified person, so they have to have gone on courses and know what they're doing. 9 is the participants can stop the experiment at any time, so they can withdraw. 10, scientists must prepare to stop the experiment at any point if the participants do want to stop or if anything's going wrong. So this is BASIS, and this is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science. They have a code of conduct which has 8 steps to ensure research is done ethically and correct, and these are: number 1, structure; 2, ethical clearance; 3, informed consent; 4, confidentiality, which means that not telling anyone the data that's collected. Number 5 is also data collection, which also means not telling the data, not sharing the data with anyone unless it's okay. 6 is competence. 7 is professional conduct. 8 is disciplinary procedure. So, ethical is defined as relating to beliefs about what is morally considered right and wrong, and that is a definition from the Cambridge Dictionary. And also we have another definition which is legal, and this is defined as working within the boundaries of the law. So on this side we have many ethical and ethical issues. So we have deception, so deceiving, right to withdraw, confidentiality, risk to benefit. So this means that the benefit must be higher than the risk. And on this slide we have the consequences which can occur if there's too many ethical issues. So there could be physical harm to the participants, psychological harm. So, and if the researchers have too many ethical issues, ethical training can be put in place so they can have training to make sure that the ethical issues are reduced. They can also be fined and sued. There can be social harms such as embarrassment. They can be decredited by bases, and they could even have a prison sentence or suspension. So here we have my first scenario. An experiment will take place which will involve fitness tests of young female gymnasts aged 16 to 18. Everyone in the squad will have to participate in the experiment and will have to stay within the fitness test throughout, no matter what. Before the experiment begins, the gymnasts will be briefed, and at the end they will be debriefed so they know what's going on throughout. The results gained in the test will be shared with the club and kept as a record for future clubs, stored on the National Gymnastics Association database. So here we can see many bad practices of ethical issues. So we can see that they aren't volunteers and that they've been made to participate, as it says that everyone in the squad will have to participate. Also, there's no right to withdraw because it says that they will have to stay in the fitness test no matter what. Also, there's no Data Protection Act because if the information is stored on the National Gymnastics Association website, anyone can see it. However, the good practice here is that the gymnastics have been briefed so they know what's going on throughout, and this also means that there's no deception, which is also another good practice. So next we're going on to scenario 2. This experiment will measure the relationship between the flexibility of the gymnast and their performance levels in a competition. The participants are told that they will be working at low intensity throughout the experiment, however they will be working maximally. Halfway through the experiment, the gymnast will be left alone in the gymnasium whilst the experimenters go and brief the next lot of volunteers. At the end of the session, participants are told that no information will be shared unless permission is given. So here, bad practice is that there is a high risk of health and safety. So the participants are being left alone in the gym, which shows that there's no responsibility, and this is also neglectful. Good practice is that it is quite a relevant topic. So the experiment has a good benefit to risk proportion, and also there's confidentiality which is shown at the end because the participants are told that their information will not be shared. So this is number 3. Within the experiment, they were seeing the effect of illegal performance enhancing drugs had on gymnasts' competing performance. The gymnasts were told that they were taking Participants were told that they were taking a legal protein drug to see the effects on their performance. Several gymnasts left the experiment after being briefed, however the rest were willing to remain within the experiment. The experimenters respected their decisions. So, the bad performance is that, as we can see, it's an illegal performance enhancing drug and doping is illegal. So this is a very bad practice. And also, this is a major thing of deception. They've been told that they're taking a legal protein drug, however, they're actually taking an illegal performance enhancing drugs. So this is very bad. So there's also health and safety with this, because they don't know that by deceiving the participants, they don't know that they might have a reaction to the illegal drug, and this can be a major incident. So the good practice, however, is that they were asked if they were allowed to leave the experiments. This is right to withdraw, and also the experimenters did respect their decisions. This is kind of professional conduct. So for the last scenario, this is an experiment is going to be done to see the effects on ice baths on young female gymnasts recoveries. They will take an ice bath in a cold swimming pool. Some participants cannot swim, however, and are scared to go in the pool. The gymnasts are told that they will perform a routine, and the experimenters have stated that their performance will be medium intensity. However, the researchers will be making them work maximally. They are asked to sign a form at the beginning of the session, which also asks questions about medical issues. A good thing about this is that, a bad thing, is that there's deception. They were told that they were going to work at a medium intensity, however, they're going to be made to work maximally. Also, no participant protection. Some can't swim and are scared to go in the pool, so this is bad on the participant protection and health and safety, because if you can't swim in a deep pool, then you're going to drown. So also, this could be professional conduct as well. Like, if they're scared to go in the pool, you need to respect that, and you shouldn't make them do that. So the good practice is that by asking questions about their previous health, this is participant screening, so they will know the health of the participants. And also they was asked to sign a form, so this is informed consent. So this is the end of my video on ethics and legal requirements. Thank you for watching.